So I'm looking at this picture and I can literally see a spirit on my face. Well, I was born in New York, and my mother brought me here when I was 3 years old. She was born and raised there. My mother was on drugs, very fiery, mean, but she decided that she did not want to raise me in New York because she felt like my life was going to turn a different direction. So she brought me to Virginia. My mother was a hard worker. Despite that she was on drugs, she was a functional drug addict. She raised me, my opinion, very well considering her situation. She was extremely mean, and very angry at the world, and just didn't take a lot from different people. I had to be strong, and she raised me to be independent and fight for what I wanted and understand who I was in this world. In that, I did not grow up in church. We did recognize who Jesus was. My grandmother told me a lot about Jesus when I went to visit with her. I went to church with her. So I did know something about who Jesus Christ was. But just living the life as my husband did in church, I didn't do that. I do remember being about, let's say 12 or 13 years old, and I remember having the desire to just go to church because I just wanted to be in the house. Would ask my mom, can I go to church? And she wouldn't go, but it was a church around the corner from where we lived, so she would allow me to walk to church from my house, me and my little brother, and we would go then. And we would do that periodically, but again, I wasn't raised in church. My mom was so hard and strict and stern that I really didn't do a lot. I wasn't, one of those kids that got into a lot of different things. I wasn't like that. She didn't play them games. You did what she said. Like they said, you do as I say, not as I do. My mother was that person. So I pretty much followed rules. I didn't fall outside of the rules. So as a teenager, I didn't get into a lot. But I do, as teenagers do, we get into things. But my mother was so strict, it just wasn't happening. I was sneaky sometimes, and I did get away with stuff that she didn't know about, but it won't like a lot. I want to express the anger that was in my household. The anger really took me to a different direction. Once I got into high school, kids would tease me because of my weight, and that was very detrimental to me. And I remember going to Bethel High School and making a decision, it was like a conscious decision that I'm just not going to tolerate people mistreating me and coming at me different ways just because of my weight. And I hate to say it like this because my mom always say, don't be stressed, don't be focusing on the fact that you're pretty. My mother stressed that. She did not want me to have a big head. So I do understand that I'm pretty, but I don't have a big head about it. People would they would tease me, but again, my mom would say they just jealous of you because you're pretty, so they would just tease you because I don't know why they did it, but they did, and it really affected me. So when I went to Bethel, I decided that I'm not tolerating this anymore. And when I remember walking from the dean's office, she gave me my little schedule, and as I'm walking, I remember saying to myself, I'm not gonna let anybody hurt my feelings anymore. And at that moment, I realized that's when the devil eased in. And the devil had his way with my mind, how I reacted to things, my outlook on things. And so going through those last couple of school years, I remember getting in fights where before I would never fight. I remember cussing people out. I remember belittling people, mistreating people. The person that I was, I created, with the devil's help, I created someone totally different. So that put a stigma on me. And then, so fast forward, when I became an adult and I had a child, my son, Tyree, That was in 1993. We can remember my friend sent me a picture a couple of years back, and it was a picture of me holding my son, and we were sitting on my couch, and I could see. Now, mind you, at this point, I'm already saved, so I understand what spirits are. So I'm looking at this picture, and I can literally see a spirit on my face. You know how you go to church and you hear people talk about spirits, but for me, I understood that spirits were truly real, and I literally had a spirit over me. And the devil had messed me up, because it truly wasn't who I was as a person and who God created me to be. In all of that, when I look back on it, I realized then why I treated my husband the way I treated him, why I had became the person that I was. And so I said, God, I had to recognize that so that I could come out of it. And during that time is when I met my husband in 1993. One of his band members was living with me at the time, and he asked me could they come and rehearse at my house. So that's how I came to reconnect with Mike, because I actually met him in 6th grade. When we reconnected and they came and they were singing and everything, and they would be at my house all the time. One of the band members in his group was just completely saved to me. Now, mind you, I said I didn't grow up in church, but he stood out to me. Out of the 4 guys, he stood out to me. And how he carried himself, how humble he was, how sweet he was. I could see the glory of God over his life. And it did something to me. It made me want to know, where did you get that from? Why do you act like that? And so in turn, them coming to rehearse at my house, us having conversation, us fellowshipping together, it made me interested to find out who Jesus Christ was. So in that, I started going to church with them when they had to sing out. And through him, I will say, I'm not going to say through my husband, but through him, I got saved. And that's how I came to Christ. Me and my husband, we were living together. We were boyfriend and girlfriend, and we were living together. And so I grew up, you just follow rules. You ain't go outside of not doing what you know is right to do. So shacking was just like, you're not supposed to do that. Mind you, we did it for like 5 years. But I remember when we started going to the Potter's house, Ruby Turner's church, I told my husband, I said, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep doing this. I said, so if we're gonna stay together, we can still date and, be boyfriend and girlfriend, but we can't continue to live together and we're not married. So I made that conscious decision that I didn't want to live that lifestyle. I guess maybe let's say 8 months later, we started kind of talking about getting married, and we got, I guess, that, I don't know, the year my daughter was born, we got married the following year, so in 98. And that's when we decided to go forward. We went to the Justice of the Peace because he was still undecided. And that kind of bothered me too. I want to definitely say that my journey to becoming saved, God healed me over time. Not immediately, because it sure takes time, Lord. I thank you. It takes so much time. I thank him because I was an angry young lady. I was mean to my husband. So the fact that we're still together 25 years later, it speaks volumes, because I mistreated him. I didn't do him right. I didn't talk to him correctly. Everything that a wife is supposed to do, I did not do it. It took God to change me. I had to literally be delivered from that angry spirit, those words that I used to use. Because he was so nice, I felt like I could. You know how, I know my mom used to tell me all the time, no, you can't do no more to a person than they allow you. So because he allowed me to do it, in my mind, it was okay to do. But that's not okay. If I can talk to anybody, Lord, I thank you, Jesus. If I could tell anyone, it's not okay to mistreat someone just because they nice or they're humble and they're not going to come back at you. They're not going to use bad words or be mean to you the way you're being mean to them. It's not right to mistreat anybody like that. We are children of God, and we have to show the love of God in everything that we do. And so if I learned anything in my saved life, I learned that the way you treat somebody is very important, because God is looking at how you treat people. We are all his children, and he loves us all. And as my husband was preaching today, it doesn't matter how you look. What scars you have on, you don't know what that person has went through. So you can't mistreat people. You can't talk to them. You can't belittle them. And it took me years, it took me years to truly understand that the way I was conducting myself, a lot of it was generational. Learning from my parent, my mom. I have a long line of women that still to this day think that you can say and do what you want to do, but it's not right to mistreat or belittle people, or because you think you're better than them and you can say what you want to say to them. It's not right. It's not right. So the deliverance that took place in my life, I'm so thankful for it. I'm thankful where I am in God. I'm thankful that I understand what love means. I'm thankful that I had a husband that was humble and that didn't give up on me, because he could have walked away a long time ago. If it had not been for him, I don't know where I would be. The God that's in him. Understand what I'm saying? It ain't my husband, Michael Mines, but it is the God that's in him that helped me. So it is important that when you become married to someone, that you are completely yoked with them, so that their faults will strengthen, their strengths will strengthen you, and your strength will strengthen them, and you will become one, and you can walk together. It's no big you or little you. It's only one when you're married. So you have to understand that everybody is not going to be the same. We're not the same. So you have to understand and meet them where they are, so that you won't push them out, push them away. You can't belittle them. You can't talk down to them. You have to encourage them. So I say to any young woman that's listening to what I'm saying, please don't belittle your man. The Bible tells us a saved woman sanctifies the man. And we have to be strong in who we are, and we have to love our mate. And he has to love you as Christ loves the church. We have to. If you don't show the love of God, what are we doing? What's the point? It's no point. It's no point. We have to show love to each other. There's so much hatred in this world. People are mean to each other. And only God, when you see the love of God, you know it's God. You know it's him. But he, the only one that can bring you out. And we all fall short every day. Every person in this world falls short at some point or another. But if you trust the Lord, he can bring you out and deliver you. We as women, we have to really seek ourselves and understand who you are. It doesn't matter what people say about you. It's what your heart says, what you feel in the inside, and stand strong to your beliefs. And you can't allow what someone else say dictate how you're going to respond and how you're going to react. Me changing my mindset about being bullied, about being nice to go and being mean, made me be mean to other people. So the same thing that they were doing to me is what I did to other people. So you have to know who you are and trust it and stand firm to that. Jesus is everything to me. He's the reason I wake up in the morning. He's the reason I breathe. He's the reason that I love. And God is just, he is so awesome. He loves me when I don't even love myself. And that part, just the fact that he died on the cross. You know, when I think about how Jesus laid on that cross and they beat him and they spat on him, it do something to my insides. Like I told you, I would fight. So it make me want to just go fight them people that beat my Jesus like that. How do you do something? So me seeing that says I would not treat no human being that way, because I can't believe that they did that to my Lord and Savior. The main person that saved all of us. He loved us in spite of, he loves us. So he is my everything. He is the reason I breathe. He is the reason that I want to have the best. He is the first relationship. Women, we need to put him first. If we put him first, then everything else will line up. That's the key. Putting God first. And I promise you, it's peace in having him first. It's love in having him first. It's smiling when you don't want to smile by having him first. Everything that is even good is all because of Jesus. It's all because of him. And I just could not live this. I couldn't live this life without him. It's no way. What I know now, I'll be 52 years old this year. What I know in my 52 years, I wouldn't give Jesus up for nothing in this world. Nothing. Because he is why we live. He is why we love. He is why we're happy. He is everything. And I'm thankful for him. I'm so thankful. I'm thankful because he has taught me how I'm supposed to treat my humankind. Because if I had did it my mother's way, I would have been going to hell somewhere. And I want to say this also. The way you were raised is not always right. Everything that we learned growing up, the way our parents taught us, they did the best they could with what they knew. But everything that we were taught, if it does not line up with God's word, then you better let it go. You better let it go and get delivered and come out of what you're in. This is my testimony unfiltered.